All right, we are getting some juicy weekend price action here, and I want to talk about the strategy that I used to get into this long position. My original entry was lower, but I added to my long position once I saw that we were getting the confirmations for this strategy. And this strategy is the 4-hour, 24-minute strategy. Now, I believe Jason Casper is the creator of this strategy, or at least the strategy that incorporates Market Cipher B. So, all credit to him. He gave us a very nice strategy to use. And, someday in the near future, I'd like to try and create my own strategy, backtest it, put in the work to do that. But until then, I'm going to be using some strategies that I know have been backtested and I know have high win rates. So first off, you're going to need a few things for this strategy. You're going to need Market Cipher B, and you're going to need Paid Trading View because we're using the 24-minute time frame. This doesn't come with the free version. And you're also going to need Wolfpack ID, but this is a free indicator on TradingView. So really, the only two things you need ahead of time are Market Cipher and the 24-minute time frame. Now, the first thing that you want to do before even looking for any of these confirmations is you want to look at the 4-hour time frame. You want to look at Market Cipher B and essentially just determine your environment. You want to see what the money flow is looking like and basically just how bullish or bearish are we looking. And so if I go to the 4-hour time frame, you can see that right now we're printing a trigger wave to this anchor wave, and the money flow is still pretty thick in the green, even though it came down significantly. Right now we are getting a little tick up with the money flow, and it is still pretty thick in the green, like I said. So, we've already determined our environment that there is still potential for upward price action. Then the next thing that you want to do is you want to start looking for these confirmations. First, you want to see the 4-hour Market Cipher B printing a trigger wave. Then you want to see the 4-hour Wolfpack ID crossing the zero line. Then you want to look for a 24-minute anchor and trigger wave, 24-minute Wolfpack crossing, and the 24-minute money flow crossing. And as an optional sixth confirmation, you can use the 4-hour Market Cipher A ribbon 5 and wait for that to flash bullish, but I'll talk about that a little later. It's an optional. And some people like to split their screen, right? You click this button up here and you can choose your layout. You can have one chart open at once, or you can split your screen so you can have two time frames open at the same time. And this just allows you to see the indications on the 4-hour and the 24-minute at the same time, so you don't have to keep clicking back and forth between them. And for this specific strategy, this is really helpful. And, if you have Paid Trading View, if you have the 24-minute, then, you can do this as well. This doesn't come with the free version. And let me put on Wolfpack ID on the 24-minute. So you'll go to the indications button, and I have Wolfpack favorited right here. If you click the star, then it'll just stay on this main page, but you can just search up Wolfpack ID right here, and you can start if you want. But this is the other indicator that we're going to be using. And right here at this vertical line, I marked it when we finally got all of the indications I was looking for. This is the moment that we saw all of them. So let's go back and see what we were seeing here. So first, 4-hour trigger wave printing. Did we have that? Well, if we look at the 4-hour, you can see that, yes, we did. We had an anchor wave right here. In general, any momentum wave that prints a big green dot like this can be considered an anchor wave. And, this next momentum wave is printing a higher low, meaning it can be considered a trigger wave to this anchor wave. We can check off number 1. Next, we want to see the 4-hour Wolfpack crossing over. And the Wolfpack ID is an oscillator, just like Market Cipher. Well, not just like Market Cipher, but it oscillates above and below the zero line, and when it crosses up, changes to green. When it crosses down, changes to red. So you want to see the 4-hour Wolfpack crossing up and changing to green if you're using this strategy to take a long. And we did indeed see that, so number 2 is checked off. Now, what we want to see is the 24-minute, giving us the confirmations as well. We want to see an anchor and a trigger wave on the 24-minute. If we go to the 24-minute, you'll see that it's a little iffy. Now, like I said, I entered this position a little earlier, and hang on, quick little side note, I have to change this because it bothers me. Click the settings button on Wolfpack ID and you can turn off this bar color because that kind of just overlays colors on top of my candles and I don't like that. But yeah, for the anchor and trigger wave, now you can technically call this a trigger wave because we printed a green dot higher than this one, and that is if you are considering this a anchor wave. Now you can technically consider this a trigger wave as well because it printed a higher low than this one back here, and we even formed a bullish divergence as we were printing this. So you could say that the trigger wave was already printed, but yeah, it's really up to personal interpretation and you have to take other sort of factors in mind. Like, I was considering this a trigger wave because the money flow was increasing as well. So I entered a little bit of the position down here and I waited until we got the rest of the confirmations to enter fully. But regardless, if you're considering this the trigger wave or this, we got the anchor trigger wave on the 24-minute, so we can cross off number 3. Next, we want to see the 24-minute Wolfpack crossing over. And we did see that right here as we were printing this momentum wave, and it actually stayed in the green for a long time. So this whole time, this was basically checked off. So number 4, we got that, and number 5, we want to see the 24-minute money flow cross over. Now this happened at essentially the same time as the 4-hour Wolfpack crossing over. You can see that the money flow crossed right here, and at that same time the Wolfpack was crossing over. So this vertical line was the moment that all of those confirmations were met, and you can see that we actually got a pretty large move right after this happened, about 1.6% or so. So this is the point that I entered in the rest of my position, and that gave me an entry right about here because I had taken profits on the long I took down here, so I had a very small position left open, and I added in after we started pumping up a little bit. I wanted to wait until we got the confirmations until they were all met, so I entered a little later than I might have wanted to, but it doesn't matter that much. And not that long ago, we came up and hit my first take profit, which was the point of control of this range that we were trading in. I took about a quarter of the position out, and I'm leaving the rest open because this 4-hour, 24-minute strategy is a swing trading strategy, and so I'm treating this as a swing trade. I'm not going to micromanage it. I'm going to wait until my targets are hit. I have some fib targets above us that I think we have the potential to reach, especially because if we look at some of the higher time frames, we're just now printing a 12-hour green dot, and let's see, the 8-hour Wolfpack is about to cross over. We printed a trigger wave on the 8-hour, and the money flow is crossing up. So I think we have the potential to continue trending upwards with this. Now, I have a few other examples marked out here of other times that we had all of these confirmations met for this strategy, and what those trades would have looked like if we had taken them. So on August 29th, we saw the 4-hour trigger wave printing. The 4-hour money flow was trending up at the time, even though it was deep in the red, so that is something we have to consider, that things weren't as bullish as they may be right now just based off of the money flow. But we saw the trigger wave printing and we saw Wolfpack ID crossing over. So now let's go to August 29th on the 24-minute and see, did we get our confirmations here? And you can see that, yes, we did. We got the trigger wave to this anchor wave right here. We also saw Wolfpack ID crossing over right here as the 4-hour was crossing over. And we saw the money flow cross over at basically the exact same time. So you could definitely have taken a trade with the 424 strategy during this time, and this one would have been a winner. It wasn't a massive move, it was only about 3.5%, but that is still a decent little move, especially during a downtrend. You know, you also have to consider the macro environment. If we're in a macro downtrend, then these bullish signals probably won't be as powerful. So you have to consider all of those factors. Now, right now, you could say we could be in the beginning of a macro uptrend, right? We had a high, a low, a lower high, a lower low. Now we could have made a higher high, and we could potentially be making a higher low right now. So you have to consider the macro environment when you're using this strategy, but you still could have entered here with this strategy and gotten a profitable trade out of it. Now let's look for another example. Back on August 10th, you could see that the macro environment was a little bit different. We were sort of in a macro uptrend, even though it wasn't a large uptrend. This is, when we were putting in these highs of the summer range. So we were in an uptrend. And here you can see that we got the trigger wave. Now the anchor wave was all the way back here. We got the Wolfpack crossover on the 4-hour. Now let's go to the 24-minute. Did we see the rest of the confirmations? We got the anchor and the trigger waves. We got the Wolfpack crossover. And we got the money flow crossover. And you can see as soon as that money flow crossed over, we got a massive pump, almost 5%. And if you held this thing, you could have gotten 7 to 8% out of this move. So this was definitely a winner. I think that is just about everything I wanted to go over. Right now, I'm sort of hoping that we're going to continue trending upward. I still have a lot of my position open. So, I would like to see some of these fib targets hit up here, especially with some of this confluence that we have. We have some significant support resistance levels right around these fib levels. So, maybe we get a move up to like 21.6, something like that. But yeah, the 4-hour, 24-minute strategy. This is just one strategy that I've been experimenting with, you can say, and as a trader, it is important to have many different winning strategies in your arsenal, in your tool belt, so you can be ready for whatever market conditions present themselves. And in this case, I was prepared for this upturn in the market. And, maybe it doesn't continue trending up. Either way, I got a profitable trade out of this. All right, guys, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like and subscribing, and I will see you all in my next video. Peace.